안녕하세요, 여러분. 준입니다. 오늘은 Sino and Native Korean words. So many Korean words have the same meaning, right? I know you're not crazy for having noticed this. It's a phenomenon that's going to happen a lot. If you're at the beginning stages, just know it's not a handful of words. It's darn near all of them. Okay, that was an exaggeration, but you know, why? This ice cube has the same expression on my face as I did when I first figured it out, but we're going to talk about Sino-Korean and Pure Korean words. I made a post, which you can find it here if you want. I'll have it like linked to this video somewhere, or like on the end screen, the difference between the numbers, Sino and Korean numbers, Sino and Pure Korean numbers. But now we're talking about Sino and Pure Korean in general, and Sino and Pure Korean words. So Sino-Korean words are the ones that were previously taken from the Chinese language or borrowed from the Chinese language, and they're still used in Korean language today. Then there are the Pure Korean, sometimes called Native Korean, which I'm used to referring to it as, and they are just made up from Korean language in general. So besides that, what's the difference? So Sino-Korean words, they tend to have a more formal feeling to them. I don't know if this is a hard and fast rule, but pretty good description of them. So these words you use or hear in more formal situations. Sometimes I'm thinking also like written. A lot of times written you might see them. So you see the Sino numbers when taking tests like the TOPIK exam. That's why I felt a little some type of way about studying for the TOPIK exam, because the type of language and type of words that are used in the TOPIK test, they feel weird to me. I guess that's because I'm not used to learning from a textbook and that sort of thing. And they're like a little more formal, a little more literary, you know. So another example is like giving speech in Korean. You might hear more Sino words instead. Speeches, like politics, maybe like news, you usually hear more formal words and that sort of thing. Doesn't mean that every formal word is a Sino word. So I won't say it's a hard and fast rule that every Sino word is formal and every formal word is Sino, But that's just, they tend to have that more formal feeling to it and be used in more formal situations. Now, the native Korean words, they have a more casual feel to them, I feel like, and used more like everyday speaking by Koreans. So you most likely hear these way more, which is also why the TOPIK exam can feel weird to you or someone like me. There's like, I've never seen these words before, but I'm used to saying this word, but there's another word that I've never seen before that means the same thing. And it's, it just feels weird. But, that's how it is. Because they're so intertwined into the Korean language, you can't just learn one over the other. And it's not like you have to learn both of them or all of the words with the same meaning all at the same time. I wouldn't recommend that. Of course not. That's crazy, and that's would be very confusing. But I'm just saying, you will eventually. If you learn one word, you will probably eventually see or hear or learn about the other, which is kind of nice, I guess. So you don't have to be lost forever. So it's very entwined to the point that sometimes it's better to use a Sino word over the native word. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, even though the Sino word could have a more formal feel to it, I say, even though you're hearing me say that, sometimes you use the Sino word more than the native Korean word. Sometimes it's opposite. They're just so intertwined, it's hard to know. You can't just think, which one should I use over the other? It doesn't matter where it originated from. It just matters what we have going on now, How do you know which one is which? So personally for me, because the Sino is taken from Chinese, it usually has some kind of Chinese, like Hanja attached with it. So if you use Naver Dictionary, it's kind of easy to tell. I don't know. I haven't used many dictionaries. I'm sure they do a similar thing where they have the hanja written next to it, the word, when you look it up. That usually means, yep, this is a Sino word because hanja is a Chinese character that reflects the Korean word and its pronunciation. Now that I know how to tell the difference, at least by using a dictionary, like, when do I use them? Okay, guys, time for a real talk. It does not matter. It's like, why are you making this video then if it doesn't matter? That's not what I mean. I'm just saying, like, don't stress about trying to remember which one is formal, informal, which one's sino, which one's native. Just, trying to adjust, you know, the situation with words. It's hard enough to adjust the situation with the grammar, with the formality levels, with the titles, with the everything, honorifics. It's hard enough to do that. Don't try to also think about, oh, I should use the Sino-Korean, word instead of the pure Korean word for this. That is just too much. We already got to think about honorific word changes and all of that. You can use pure Korean words and still make formal sentences. You can use Sino-Korean words and still make informal sentences. It's just good to know that there is a difference between the two. It's good to know that they both exist. It's good to recognize when you see them. Ah, okay. This one's Sino-Korean, this one's native. Sometimes it helps because there are plenty of Sino words that are much more common and natural to use than the pure ones. So, for example, the word friend, 친구. We all know and love that, right? That happens to be a Sino-Korean word. And the native Korean words for it are bot and dongmu. And I'm betting you've probably never heard that in your life. So it's like, don't stress about that. This lesson that we're doing right now is for people who are wondering why there's so many words with the same meaning. And this post that I'm making is not even like the end of it. This is not the end all be all. This isn't the full explanation of why there's so many words with the same meaning. There are also just synonyms, guys, There's just synonyms. Like in English, like probably in your native language, there's synonyms everywhere. We got Sino and we got native to think about. And then we have synonyms. Probably synonyms between the two of them. So that's like double the synonyms. So there's like so many words with the same meaning. So the difference, I really just learned about it myself. I was watching a video from Go Billy, but I don't think I presented the info as well as he did. But definitely, if you don't already, you should be already. He's a legend. He's iconic. You should be watching Go Billy. It's like necessary. Even though he has a lot of older videos and maybe they're not super great quality. Like some of the older videos, they're not the best quality because, he's just been doing this so long. He's a legend. But the explanation is what is great. He explains things so well, and I'm trying to follow in his footsteps. But just over the years, I've been getting many questions about, this sort of thing. I'm not fluent in Korean, not yet. I'm not an expert. Actually, I kind of am an expert. When I made this lesson, it was like 4 years ago. I feel like I'm more of an expert now, but I do my best, and that's all. That's all I can hope for. So, I didn't really get any vocab. I usually, for these types of posts, like to prepare a vocab list or at least some examples, but I couldn't really do that. But here are some of the common ones that I feel like we have all seen. The left side is the native Korean, the right side is the Sino. So we've seen for the word sun, 해 and 태양. For the word to choose, we have 고르다 and 선택하다. For the word to use, we have 쓰다 and 사용하다. So right here, let's see. I would use 해, 선택, and 쓰다. See how you can't just decide based on which system or which place it's from originally? These are, if I was choosing what I use in everyday life, these ones I've picked, these are the ones I usually go for when I'm speaking. That being said, I have students that like to use 고르다. I have students that like to use 사용하다. No. For sun, I feel like one of those is like more scientific, but I forget which one. It is kind of hard to make a list of these words because yeah, you just need to look out for the hanja. And also another thing I had noticed in Naver Dictionary, I hope they still do it, but I think they do. They have stars above the words that correlate to, you know, their popularity level, basically. How commonly it's used. So 1 star would be like not as common, 2 stars, fairly common, 3 stars, most common. So it's pretty helpful, but don't take it too serious because sometimes a word just isn't, used that often in everyday conversation, but it's still like that's the word you should use in that situation. But comment below, and I might try to feature your comment or something in the next video that I make. Like this video to let YouTube know everyone else should be looking at this video too, and subscribe to see more videos like this. I'm trying to make videos that aren't common on YouTube and are helpful still. Yeah, I'm gonna link below this lesson if you want to look at it more closely. And that's all for this lesson today. I will see you in the next video. 다음에 봐요.